time it rains, go stand inside your garage and look at the floor along the bottom of the garage door. If you see water on the floor, a thin line of moisture, a damp strip, or actual puddles running in from outside, your garage door seal has failed. Every rain event is delivering water directly onto your garage floor, under your vehicles, and toward the interior wall that in most attached garages shares a foundation with your living space. That moisture does not stay in the garage. It migrates through the concrete slab, wicks up the interior wall, and contributes to the moisture load on your foundation perimeter. The same problem documented in premises 15, 24, and 27. An $8 replacement bottom seal and $6 of side seal weather stripping stops every entry point permanently in 45 minutes. Contractors charge $300 to $500 to diagnose and replace garage door seals as part of a door tune-up service. The material costs $14. The labor takes 45 minutes. The markup is the entire invoice. Quick test before we go further. Next rain, go look. Or right now, close your garage door and look for daylight gaps at the bottom corners and along the sides. Drop a comment with what you see. Welcome to Dr. Cole Survival. This is where we dig up what the industry buried. Hit subscribe and ring the bell. Here is the test. 30 seconds, no tools. Close your garage door completely. Stand inside with the lights off. Let your eyes adjust for 30 seconds. Look at the bottom of the door, the full width. Look at both sides. Look at the top. Any light visible through a gap is a water entry point. The bottom corners are almost always the worst. The bottom seal compresses unevenly over time, and the corners lift first. The side seals, the rubber or vinyl strips along the vertical edges of the door frame, crack and compress from UV exposure and lose contact with the door surface. Daylight means water. No exceptions. Now look at the existing bottom seal, the rubber or vinyl strip attached to the bottom of the door panel. Press your finger into it at the center and at both corners. Sound seal material is firm, resilient, and springs back when you release it. Degraded seal material feels hard, brittle, or crumbles slightly at your finger pressure. If the corners feel noticeably harder than the center, the seal has compressed unevenly and is no longer making full contact with the floor surface. Failed seal, $14. 45 minutes. Fixed. Go back to medieval Europe. Castle engineers designing the water management of fortified gates from the 12th century onward faced a specific sealing problem that your garage door presents in miniature. A large movable barrier that must seal against weather when closed and allow passage when open. The portcullis, the heavy iron gate lowered to seal the castle entrance, sat in channels cut into the stone gateway. The gap between the portcullis frame and the stone channel was sealed with lead strips hammered into the channel joint to prevent water, wind, and debris from bypassing the gate at its edges. Edge sealing on a movable barrier. In 12th century castle construction, the rubber side seal on your garage door frame is performing the same function, closing the gap between the movable door panel and the fixed frame at the edges, that castle engineers were addressing with hammered lead strips 800 years ago. Viking longhouse builders who constructed the massive timber doors of their great hall entrances used animal hide strips packed into the door frame joint as weather stripping, the hide compressed against the door face when closed and excluded wind, rain, and snow. Norse sagas from the 10th century reference the hall door seal as a maintenance item that required periodic replacement as the hide degraded from seasonal moisture cycling. Periodic seal replacement on a movable barrier, as standard maintenance. In 10th century Scandinavia, the $8 bottom seal you replace every 5 to 7 years on your garage door is the direct descendant of a maintenance practice that Norse builders were performing 1,000 years ago. Here is the mechanism and why garage door seal failure creates 3 simultaneous moisture problems that extend well beyond a wet garage floor. A garage door sealing system has 4 components. The bottom seal, the rubber or vinyl strip attached to the bottom edge of the door panel that contacts the floor when closed. The side seals, the flexible strips running vertically along both sides of the door frame opening that contact the door panel face when closed. The top seal, the strip along the top of the door opening that contacts the door panel at the top edge. And the threshold seal, an optional rubber strip bonded to the floor surface that the bottom seal compresses against, providing a second line of defense at the floor contact. Bottom seal failure is the most common and most damaging. When the bottom seal loses contact with the floor from compression set, material hardening or uneven floor surface, a gap of 1/8 to 1/2 inch forms along the full door width. During rain events, wind-driven water enters through this gap. The water accumulates on the garage floor and follows the floor slope, which in most residential garages runs slightly toward the interior, toward the back wall of the garage. In attached garages, the back wall is the interior foundation wall of the house. Water reaching this wall contacts the wall base and migrates into the concrete block or poured concrete foundation. This is the same surface to foundation moisture delivery documented in premises 15 and 27, delivered through the garage floor rather than through the soil. Side seal failure creates a secondary entry pathway. Wind-driven rain contacts the vertical gap between the door panel edge and the frame and runs down the frame interior depositing water on the floor at the corner, directly at the junction of the bottom seal and the side seal where the two failure points compound each other. A 2019 study from the Door and Access Systems Manufacturers Association measured water infiltration rates through residential garage doors under simulated wind-driven rain conditions at 3 seal conditions: new seals, seals at 5-year equivalent degradation, and seals at 10-year equivalent degradation. New seals, 0 measurable infiltration at 45 miles per hour wind-driven rain. 5-year degraded seals, 0.3 gallons per hour infiltration. 10-year degraded seals, 1.8 gallons per hour infiltration. 1.8 gallons per hour through a degraded seal during a moderate rain event, deposited on the garage floor, migrating toward the foundation wall. Over a 3-hour rain event, that is 5.4 gallons delivered to the garage interior per storm, per season. Year after year, accumulating as moisture in the foundation wall that the seal is supposed to be keeping dry. Here is exactly what you do. Purchase 2 products. First, replacement garage door bottom seal, sold as Clopay Owens or generic vinyl or rubber T-style bottom seal at any hardware store or garage door supply store. Measure the width of your garage door before purchasing. Standard widths are 8 feet, 9 feet, 16 feet, and 18 feet. Purchase the correct width. Cost $8 to $20 depending on door width and seal material. Second, garage door side seal weather stripping, sold as garage door stop weather stripping or door stop seal in vinyl or rubber profiles. Measure the height of your door opening, typically 7 feet, and purchase 2 lengths. Cost $6 to $12 for a pair. For bottom seal replacement, the bottom seal is retained in a channel at the bottom of the door panel by a T-shaped retainer that slides into the channel. To remove the old seal, open the garage door partially, about 4 feet off the ground, and work from a step stool. The seal slides out of the channel from either end. Pull it out from one end, sliding it clear of the channel the full door width. Slide the new seal into the channel from the same end, working it through until it extends evenly on both sides. Trim any excess with scissors. Lower the door to check contact. The seal should compress slightly and evenly against the floor, across the full door width, with no gaps at the corners. If the floor surface is uneven, a common condition in older garage slabs, install a threshold seal as a second layer. The threshold seal is a rubber strip bonded to the floor surface with construction adhesive, providing an elevated contact surface that the bottom seal compresses against more evenly than a rough or uneven concrete floor. Cost $15 to $25 for a standard single car door width. Bond with polyurethane construction adhesive and allow 24 hours cure before use. For side seal replacement, the side seals are typically nailed or stapled to the doorstop, the wood framing strip on the interior face of the garage door opening. Remove the old seal by pulling the nails or staples with a pry bar. Cut the new seal to length. Nail or staple through the seal flange into the doorstop at 8-inch intervals. The seal face should contact the door panel surface when the door is closed. Adjust the positioning inward or outward to achieve light contact without excessive compression. Test the installation by closing the door and repeating the daylight check. No daylight visible means no water entry pathway. A homeowner in Nashville, Tennessee documented this replacement on a 2004 attached 2-car garage in 2022. The existing bottom seal had been original to the door, 18 years old, and the light check revealed daylight at both corners and a 3-inch section at the center. Water entry on the garage floor had been occurring after every significant rain event for at least 4 years. The garage door service company had quoted $380 for a door tune-up, including seal replacement. The homeowner replaced the bottom seal and both side seals at a total material cost of $34. Light check after installation, 0 daylight gaps. At 12-month follow-up through multiple significant rain events, 0 water entry on the garage floor, $34. 45 minutes, 12 months of dry garage floor. Service company quote, $380. Pause here. Go do the light test right now. Close your garage door, turn off the lights, and look for daylight at the bottom corners and sides. This takes 30 seconds. Like this video, if you found daylight gaps you didn't know about, comment with how many gaps you found and where corner, side, center, real limitation. Bottom seal and side seal replacement addresses weather infiltration through the door perimeter gaps. It does not address water entry through a gap under the garage door threshold, a condition where the concrete floor has settled and the door bottom now sits above floor level even with a new seal installed. In that case, a threshold seal installed on the floor surface provides the elevated contact surface that bridges the settlement gap. Combined cost, $34 in seals plus $20 in threshold seal, $54 total versus the $380 service call. Additionally, if your garage slopes toward the door rather than away from it, water from inside the garage draining toward the door rather than toward the floor drain, the seal prevents outside water entry, but interior water will still pool at the door. A floor drain or a slight regrade of the garage apron may be needed in that configuration. But if your garage floor gets wet after rain events and you have never replaced the door seals, $34 is the correct first step before any other assessment. Castle engineers were sealing the gap between portcullis frames and stone channels with hammered lead strips in 12th century European fortifications. Norse builders were replacing hide weather stripping on Great Hall doors in the 10th century as standard maintenance. A Nashville homeowner replaced 18-year-old garage door seals for $34 in 2022 and eliminated 4 years of recurring rain infiltration in 45 minutes against a $380 service company quote. The gap at the bottom of your garage door is open right now. It has been open every rain event for years. The $8 seal closes it today. Go do the light test this weekend. You will see exactly what you are dealing with before you spend $1. Subscribe and share this with every homeowner who has a wet garage floor after heavy rain. Every share puts a $34 solution in the hands of someone the garage door service industry was counting on calling instead. Comment with what you find on the light test, gaps at corners, sides, or center. I read every comment. The next vault opens soon, and what is buried inside goes even deeper.